Hello, Aragon and Tahare and Ria. Good morning, everyone. Hello, Ahmad. Hello, Half Moon. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to my live stream. Sure, Aragon. Did you have a specific question you want to ask me, or?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, Aragon. How are you? Yes, I can hear you.
How are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay. Let me get my camera. Everybody in the audience, do me a favor and tell me when the camera looks okay. Am I in the middle?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, good.
It's my first time to talk with foreigners in this app, and I'm a student. I'm a college student.
Okay. So you're in China in what city? Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen,
Harbin.
Harbin. Oh, Wichita. Okay. All right. And what do you study?
Uh, 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 uh,
Engineering, English. What are you learning in school? What is your major?
there are many things. I like.
Do you
I
have
like.
a focus? Like what do you want to do as a job? 你要
Engineer.
怎么工作?
Engineer.
Oh, engineer. Okay, so you're
Yes.
studying engineering.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. 没关系，不担心，放松，放松, relax. You're okay. Do you have any
What's the time
questions
in
you
your
want to
country?
ask me?
What's the time in your country?
Right now it is 9:27 a.m.
AM. Okay. Good morning.
Yeah, it's morning here. Oh, I see a microphone behind you. Are you in a recording booth? What are you doing right now?
I'm in the library and
Ah,
I'm in reading
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 room.
room.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
reading room.
Okay. All right. So, how long have you been using HelloTalk?
Just uh, just uh, just a week.
1 week. Oh, okay.
Yeah, 1 week.
All right. Well, then you have plenty of time to explore the app and try new things.
Yeah. I knew this app from my junior high school. No, senior high school English teacher.
Oh, okay.
Uh, I asked my teacher how to improve my English, and I want to talk with foreigner, and
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
So,
and
yeah,
I know this.
there are many people you can talk to here, but I will tell you the best thing that you need to do is you need to learn how to think in English every day.
Yeah, thank you.
OK，所以现在我住在美国，可是每天我可以练习上中文，你也可以练习上英文。如果你看电视上英文，如果你去公园上英文，听得懂吗？
Your Chinese is very well.
It's okay. 可是
I understand.
这是因为我每天想中文 Okay? So that's what you need to do also. You need to think in English all the time. If you can think in English, then you can speak English. Okay?
Yes,
So 试试看
amazing. Your Chinese in high level.
I think it's medium level, but it's pretty good because I practice thinking a lot.
Very good.
I'm not nervous when I try to speak because I'm comfortable with the language. You can't be good at a language if you're not comfortable with language. And if you only practice speaking English with other foreigners, then you won't practice enough. You'll never get enough practice just by trying to speak with foreigners. So you'll never get comfortable. But if you learn how to think in English a lot, if you're thinking in English a lot, then you get comfortable with the language. And then when you need to speak, you're relaxed and comfortable.
Yes.
Okay?
I mean, talk more with foreigners, right?
No, because talking more with foreigners is good, but how much can you do that? Can you do that every day?
I don't know.
我觉得你不可以，我觉得你不可以。OK，可是你可以想英文，每天你可以想。OK，如果你想
Yeah.
你可以联系。OK，but if you only try to speak, if you move to America, if you come to America, then you can practice every day speaking. But you don't live in America, you live in Harbin. So there are not many chances for you to practice speaking English. So you will not get that much practice speaking. You just won't. Even if you try to speak with people on HelloTalk every day, you still will not get very much practice. But you can practice thinking all day. You can practice thinking all day. 所以如果你肚子饿，你想 I'm hungry. 如果你好累，你想 I'm tired. Okay?
Yes.
用你的英文的脑。Okay? So you have to use your English mind. Use your English mind. You cannot practice enough. If you live in China or you live in Japan or you live in Thailand or you live in wherever you live, you will not get enough practice speaking. You just won't. But you can practice thinking all the time. Okay? In the beginning, it's a little bit difficult. But you just need to start with simple things like I'm hungry, I'm tired, I'm happy, I'm sad. Okay?
Yeah, good advice. Thank you. Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Teacher Mark.
You're welcome. Aragon, I'm going to let you go so I can talk to some other people here today
Yeah.
and start my stream, but it was nice to talk to you. And Jia Yo,
Okay.
Shouneng Shengqiao.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Teacher Mark.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, hello, Rapid. I'm okay. Good morning. You're just starting to read books. Would I like to recommend any best publication? Well, that depends on what you like to read, Rapid. What kind of books do you like to read? Goodbye, Pig. Okay, let's see. What major should you tell me? What do you mean, Rapid? Hello, Miguel. Good to see you. Can I tell you how to make money in the early 20s? I can't. I don't know. This world is too difficult to make money in, to be honest with you, without selling your soul. Yeah. So, anyway. Okay. Hello, everybody. You like science, philosophy, religion. So you like nonfiction books. I'm trying to think of a good one for you. I think I'm going to need some time to think about that for those topics. Philosophy, you can read lots of different things. The Stoics, I like to read about the Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius and, Greek philosophers like Socrates and Plato. I like Carl Jung. A lot of Carl Jung stuff is good. Nietzsche can be pretty interesting sometimes. Khalil Gibran. If you haven't read Khalil Gibran's The Prophet, read that. That's a good one. Okay, so good morning, everybody. Hello, Quavo. Hello, Andre. Hello, Half Moon and Tehere. Hello, Lucy and Gwen. Hello, Nguyen Prai. How old am I? I'm old. Zachariah, I'm old. Gwen says, I think he knew what I said, but he can't transfer his thoughts into English. That's right. I know that. Yeah. But the reason he can't transfer his thoughts into English is because he still is only thinking in Chinese. That's my point. If you don't have an English mind, then you can't use English well. Not for reading, writing, listening, or speaking. So you must learn how to develop your English mind. Hello, Flavia. Xin Chao Tran. Am I going to stream every day? I don't stream every day anymore. I stream Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and Tuesday and Thursday I usually do a voice room. Could I explain the word parameter? Sure. But this is a good one to look up in the etymology dictionary. A parameter means some sort of measurement. The word parameter comes from the Greek word para, meaning beside or subsidiary, and metron, meaning measure. So, originally, it was a term for geometry. But then in the 1920s, they extended the definition to mean more than just geometry. It means any measurable factor which helps to define a particular system. So when you say, what are the parameters of this thing? You're talking about what are the measurable things? What are the measurable ways that you can talk about that thing? Okay? Like a boundary or a limit or a characteristic factor. Okay? So, again, the word para means beside, next to, right? Or beside something. And then metron meaning measure. So it's like a side measurement. So think of it as a way of describing that particular thing, the parameters. Can I do you a favor? What's your favor? Depends on what your favor is, Gwen. Thank you, Manuak. Can you simulate a job interview? Gwen, I can do that for you, but that's something that I do in my lessons, my private lessons. I have private lessons. If you want to buy a private lesson, then you can do that with me. I give general advice about interviews. The most important thing you need to know about interviews is that it's all about confidence. You have to look confident. If you're not confident, you're not going to get the job. It's that simple. Okay? So, if you look like you're a problem, then you won't get the job. If you look like you're a solution, then you will. Hello, Zachariah. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. If you guys are watching on Hello Talk and you are worried about the time limit, then please go here. You can join my YouTube channel right now. I'm on Hello Talk and on YouTube at the same time, live. And if you join my YouTube channel, you can still type and talk as long as you want. And the quality should be better. Okay? You want me to... Ali, what about the word descendant? You want me to tell you what it means or what? Well, the most common way that we use the word descendant is to talk about your heritage. Where do you come from? Where do you descend from? Means who were your relatives of the past. Okay, so your great-grandfather, your great-great-great-grandfather, that's your or you are the descendant of them, I should say. So, you could say, I'm the descendant of this person. It means I was from this family. Okay? Gwen, what kind of a job is it? Flavia, I don't have a specific time for when I do my voice rooms on Tuesday and Thursday. I do them whenever I have time, if I have time. So, and also because I like to move the times around a little bit on the voice room to get different audience members from around the world. Okay, so If I do it at the same time all the time, then I get the same people all the time. But if I move it around, then sometimes I get a different group of people watching. Okay? Teaching assistant. Teaching assistant, yeah. So if you are going to be interviewing as a teaching assistant, then I would say they're going to ask you things about teaching. They're going to ask you, about your background. Why do you want to be a teacher? How long have you been teaching? What kind of teaching have you done? They might ask you what you think the job of a teaching assistant is. Let me see if I can find something that might be more helpful for you. One moment. Here you go. Go to that website. 36 teaching assistant interview questions and sample answers. Okay, that should help you. How can you talk about your salary the first time? Well, I can't really advise you about that. That depends on the company that you're working for. That depends on the culture. There are a lot of things that go into that. In America, we generally want to know how much we will be paid, and you have to tell us, and you can't lie about it or you could get in trouble. So, but I have seen many, many jobs when I was in Taiwan where they would interview you and tell you the job pays this much. Then when you start working, they tell you, oh, no, it only pays this much. So be careful. That means the second name can determine your descendant. Yeah, your family name is the name you descend from often. That's usually who it is, right? Or I should say the paternal family name is usually who you descend from. Most cultures, it's the paternal family name that is kept. Isabella, how do I do what? Do I think life is fair? No. No. Rapid says there's some kind of fear inside me. It's so hard to make money today. You need to have money to make money. That's true. Right. I mean, put it this way, Rapid. I have spent a lot of my own money to try to do what I'm doing right now, and I'm still not making very much at all. I have not broken even yet. So you're right. This microphone was very expensive. I had to pay for it. The computer I'm using right now was very expensive. I had to pay for it. All this equipment that I bought, it's an investment in order to try to make more money. Without it, no, I don't think you can do that well. So you're right. You do have to spend money to make money. Hello, Sunday. Hello, Mwai. Hello, Eugene Marie. I'm sorry I didn't play any music the other day. I just didn't feel like it. Just wasn't in the mood, and I was a little busy. Have I ever been to a celebrity concert? I've been to lots of concerts. I don't go to them because they're celebrities. I go to them because I like the music. They might be famous, but I don't really care if they're famous. Igor says, is chasing rainbows used in the USA? I've heard that one, but I haven't heard it used very much. Chasing rainbows is an idiom that means like you're following dreams that you'll never get, right? You're trying to chase after some kind of a thing that you'll never get. I don't know if I've heard it used before, but I think most people would probably know what you mean if you used it. So there's not much of grammar in what? In the interviews? For a teacher's assistant, I would think not. The teacher's assistant, their job is not to know about English or whatever the topic is. Their job really is to facilitate what the teacher does. So a teacher's assistant is supposed to make my life easier as a teacher. They're supposed to help me to get all the things done and help me to keep the students organized and help me to, that's what a teacher's assistant does, in my opinion. They facilitate a teacher's work. I've never seen Taylor Swift, no. How can a native Chinese person get a job from a foreign company? What do you need to prepare? Well, that depends on the job. That depends on the company. That depends on your background. That depends on all those things. There is no one trick to getting a job anywhere. If you want to get a job somewhere, then you have to be valuable. It's that simple. How are you uniquely valuable? This is the only problem in China and some places in the world where if everybody has good grades and everybody has good test scores and a good college and everybody did all the same things, then you're just like everybody else. So we have a saying here, if you're the same as everybody, that's just like being nobody. So if you have to find a way to make yourself unique, uniquely valuable. That's how you get a job anywhere. Yes, I'm a drummer. Is there much grammar in daily talk? Well, Gwen, yes, there is, but grammar is not language. Grammar is just part of language. Grammar is how we talk about language, okay? But you can speak without using proper grammar and get a lot done. That's the truth. There's too much focus on grammar, especially in China. The way they teach English in China is so focused on grammar that everybody knows the grammar answers, but they don't know how to speak well. They don't focus on practically using the language. Every language class should focus on practically using the language, or what's the point? Okay? The truth is, you can graduate from a school in China and get good scores on your English tests, but you can't speak very well. And you'll know more about grammar than the native English speakers will, but you can't speak as well as they do. That's a huge problem. That's a huge problem. Yes, I know about Todd. Yeah, I know Todd, Flavia. I don't know him personally, but I know who he is. What's the difference between fired up and be excited and be pumped? Nothing, Mia. Fired up means the same thing as to be excited, which means the same thing as being pumped. Hello, Ahad. But sometimes it's good to obscure yourself in the crowd. Not in my opinion. Not in my experience. Not in my experience. I don't really see the value in blending in. There is only one you. Why are you trying to pretend like you're everybody else? There's only one you. That is a fact. If you try to make yourself just like everyone else, no matter how much you try, it will never be true. There is only one you. So stop trying to be like everyone else. Be yourself. Yes, I have two screens. YouTube, Hello Talk. YouTube, Hello Talk. YouTube, Hello Talk. My main topic today is not, there is no main topic. It's a question and answer session. So if you have questions, then I have answers. Why do you have to be unique? Gwen, you don't have to be. Uniqueness is something that you can't try to do. You already are unique. You're trying not to be unique. That's the problem. That's the problem, is everybody is unique, whether they want to be or not. They are. But if you keep doing everything the same as everyone else, you're just fighting against your own uniqueness. What advice do I have to somebody who has no clear path, who is always confused? Find your passions. Find your passions. Passions are real. Passions can't be faked. How do you find your passion? Find the things that you are most curious about in life. Okay? If you're very, very curious about things, follow that curiosity. Follow it. Eventually, extreme curiosity becomes passion. Okay? How tall am I? I'm about this tall. Ahoy, Daniel. Good to see you. You're in Slovakia? I think I talked to you once before, Daniel, didn't I? What does it mean to do something in the heat of the moment? Can you give some similar expressions? Yeah, that's actually a song, Manawak. The heat of the moment. If you check it out, there's a song online that you can listen to that talks all about it. To do something in the heat of the moment means to act on your emotions and your feelings right now. So in the heat of the moment, I was angry and I said something I shouldn't have. Right? Sometimes in the heat of the moment, we let ourselves, our passion or our anger or our excitement about something get a little bit out of control. So that's acting in the heat of the moment. Or sometimes the heat of the moment is when you should act. Okay? Gwen says, I'm kind of afraid that others don't like me. Gwen, you don't have to worry about if other people like you. You do have to worry about if you like you. Okay? Are they enough for you? What do you mean, Ashraf? YouTube and Hello Talk, what do you mean? Hello, Curious George. Good to see you again, my friend. How are you? Do I know any career advice books? That depends on what career you're interested in. That depends on what career you're interested in. Alex wants some interesting books. Alex, that depends on what you find interesting. What are you interested in reading? What kind of topics are you interested in reading? Tell me what you're interested in reading, and maybe I can recommend a book. Good to see you again too, my friend. You are welcome. It was nice to talk to you and your son the other day. Oh, is YouTube and HelloTalk enough for you for improving your English? No. No. Ashraf, if you want to learn something, then you need every possible tool that you can get your hands on to learn. So let me put it to you this way, Ashraf. If you were on an island by yourself, you're on a desert island by yourself, okay? And you need to survive. Are you going to try to survive with only two things? Or will you try to get as many things as you possibly can to survive? Learning is the same. When you want to learn, you cannot learn well with only one way. So when people ask me what's the best way to learn, I tell them that the best way to learn is every way to learn. Get books, videos, apps, friends, teachers, YouTube, HelloTalk, live streams, voice rooms, podcasts. Everything that you can find to help you, you should get. Okay? You don't help your learning by limiting your learning. Don't limit your learning. Okay? Learning is not a process of efficiency. Okay? Alex, I often recommend the book The Count of Monte Cristo. The Count of Monte Cristo is a famous book by Alexander Dumas, and it is a book that most people can find something interesting about. It's about love, it's about revenge, it's about pirates, it's about escaping from prison, it's about family, it's about many things. The Count of Monte Cristo. You're welcome, Ashraf. Okay, I'm going to get somebody up on stage here and talk to somebody. Pavithra says, I hesitate to speak in English. Please give me a good solution. Pavithra, don't hesitate. Shyness does not benefit you in any way in learning. It definitely doesn't benefit you in language learning. Shyness has no place in language learning. Language is a performance. You cannot be shy if you want to perform. Okay? So, put your shyness away. You have to decide, is your shyness more important or is your education more important? Stop being shy because it's not helping you. Okay? Think about it like this. If your child ran into the street, would you be too shy to yell out and say something? No, you would not. Because you recognize in that situation that your shyness won't help you. So you're not shy if there's danger. So that means you do know that there are some times when shyness won't help you. So now you have to understand that your shyness is holding you back. Your shyness is making your learning a problem. Okay? It's a problem for you. Hold on, let me catch up here. Ahad, career advice books about engineering, science, IT, government sector. That's a pretty big. Ahad, that's too many things. There are books about all those things. There are websites about all those things. Do a simple Google search for career advice for engineers. Do a simple Google search for career advice for science or IT or government sector in India. Okay? Everybody, language is a performance. So, have you ever seen a performer on stage? Have you ever seen a musician perform? Do they look shy? Do they look scared? No, they look comfortable and relaxed. Why? Because you cannot be comfortable and relaxed I should say you cannot perform well if you're not comfortable and relaxed. Let me say that. Okay? But how did they get that way? They got that way by doing it many times. So the first time I was on stage, I was very scared. But then I did it again and again and again and again and again. Now I'm not scared anymore. Okay, so confidence comes with practice and time. There is no trick to it. There is no trick to it. Jesse wants to know about true love. Jesse, true love is not something you find. True love is maybe not even real. I'm not even certain that it is. However, here's what I will tell you, Jesse. This is the one advice I can give everybody about romance or love. Let's say you meet the perfect person for you. If you meet the perfect person for you tomorrow, it might not work. Do you know why? Because maybe you haven't developed yourself enough. So the most important thing that I can tell anybody about relationships is if you don't work on yourself first, develop yourself, develop your mind, develop your spirit, develop yourself as a person, your character. If you meet the person you're supposed to be with, if you meet a wonderful person, but you haven't developed yourself yet, it won't work. It won't work. I know this from experience. So, if you want to find love, then the first thing you should do is focus on developing yourself as a person. Okay? I don't usually give that kind of advice, but that's what I will say. All right, somebody wants to talk to me. Let's talk to Tracy. Hello, Tracy.
Hi.
How are you?
Not bad.
Okay. You're in China, in what city?
青岛.
Qingdao. Okay. And what can I do for you today? How can I help you?
Recently I learned the word decompression. I want to ask you, do you use this word in daily conversation?
Not in daily conversation, but we use it to decompress, right? Compress means to press together like this, right? That's compression, okay? So sometimes we use this word when we're talking about relaxing. If you do something, maybe your work week is very pressured. You feel a lot of pressure at your job. So every week you feel a lot of pressure. And on the weekend, you say, I really need to decompress this weekend. So I'm going to the park, or I'm going for a hike, or I'm going on a little vacation. That's something you do to decompress. That's the most common way it's used.
I know the word decompress. I'm asking the noun, decompression.
No, that's not a common word. No.
Oh, okay.
That's a science word.
Oh,
Yeah.
got it.
Again, compression and decompression. Compression means to push together. Decompression means to the act of releasing something. So
That means when you are very
if you
you
feel
need
a lot
to
of
relax.
pressure, like I said, the most common way that we use this word, decompress or decompression, I need some decompression. I'm going fishing this weekend. Something like that.
Yeah.
But we usually say
Reduce
as a
your-
verb, we usually say I need to decompress.
Okay, got it.
But I would not necessarily say that that's a word we use commonly in everyday expressions or everyday talk. Yeah. it's a word that you can use, but only in specific situations.
So usually you will say just to relax.
Yeah. Yeah. Chill out, relax. Those are words that we use in everyday conversation.
Yeah, chill out. Oh, got it. So that's the problem when we're learning English, and we don't know how to express myself correctly.
Well, language is not about perfection, so don't worry about it. Just express yourself in whatever way you can, and it will continue to get better the more you try. So, nobody is a great speaker with their first words. People are great speakers after they've used their language a lot. Okay? And
Yeah.
the only other thing I would say is thinking is a very important part of it. You have to know what you think before you can know what to say. So spend time thinking about what you want to say, and then you'll know what to say.
Yeah, sometimes I will think in English, but I can't. I don't know if it's the right way to speak it in English.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. In most
Doesn't
cases,
matter?
it doesn't matter. No, in most cases, it doesn't matter. Language is not grammar. Life is not a grammar test. Okay, so
Yeah.
I think in Chinese. Sometimes I don't know if I'm thinking in Chinese the right way either. But when I speak it, almost every time people understand me, even if I'm not saying it like a native speaker would. So I don't really care. As long as they understand my point, that's all I care about. You guys focus on grammar so much because they tell you must for all the tests that you have to take. But the problem is that you focus on grammar so much. I know, I would say about 90% of people who study English in China, their grammar is not too bad. They know the answers for the test, but they can't speak very well. That's a huge problem.
Yeah.
That's a huge problem.
Oh,
That's like
yeah,
learning how to
maybe.
play a musical instrument, but not know how to make music. You understand? You know, if you can
Yeah.
talk about music, music has theory just like language has grammar, right? And so in music theory, I can talk about, well, this is a C major chord and then it's a C major scale and there's a flat 5 and a flat 7 and all these different things. That's talking about the music. But is that music? No. Do you feel anything emotionally when I talk about those things? No. Music theory is something that you can learn to help you make music more easily and help you understand music more. But it is not music itself. Grammar is not language. It is something that can that can help you understand language more. It can help you discuss language more, but it is not language. Grammar is just talking about language. Okay? You need to focus on how to use the language. And that starts with thinking. And if you're worried about making mistakes, then you won't make progress.
No, I'm not worried about grammar or making mistakes, but I just want to say very naturally, not using some very big words.
Well, I
think
agree
for
with
me
that.
it's very, yeah, it's difficult. The most difficult thing for me is that I can speak like native speakers, use some small words that can express my thinking,
Well,
express myself.
in general, that's all about learning how to think in English. In general, you need to have an English mind. So how much of your day do you spend thinking in English right now? Probably not much. Most of the time you're thinking in
Yeah.
Chinese all the time. So you need to change that. As if you can think it in English, then try to.
Maybe
Okay?
yeah.
That's the secret of language learning. Okay, the secret of language learning is that you have to understand it all starts in the mind. There are 4 parts of physical language: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. But all 4 of those start here. If you have weak English in your mind, then you won't have strong English here. Okay?
Yeah.
So, think about it like music. It's supposed to be practical. Okay? So
Yeah.
you're supposed to be using it to make music. You're supposed to be using language to make language. And nobody sounds beautifully brilliant as a musician the first time they play. You have to play a lot to get good. You have to play a lot to become really, really good at that thing. The same thing is true with language. So how many times have you practiced thinking in English? How many times have you practiced speaking English? If you haven't done it 1,000 times, then you haven't done it.
Yeah. I think most I just speak here with people from
Right.
another country.
But that's not
so,
enough.
Yeah.
That's not enough. But that's why I'm saying, like, you can practice thinking in English all day. Just live your life. I'm not asking you to sit down and open a book and study. I'm asking you to do your laundry, but think in English when you do your laundry. I'm not asking you to, write something for 3 hours every day. No, I'm asking you to make your dinner or watch TV. But when you're watching TV and making your dinner, think in English as much as you can.
Yeah, when,
and if you don't know how, then write that thing down. That's your homework.
Yeah, at the beginning, that's my way to learn English, actually. At the beginning, I will think how to express this sentence in English, how to say it. If I don't know, I just check it on the internet. But,
Okay.
yeah.
Good.
But I'm not very good at chatting, so sometimes I just I don't know what to say.
Well, you're doing fine right now.
Thank you.
Relax. You think too much. You think too
No, I'm
much
not
about the
thinking
wrong
too much.
things.
I just
You're too worried. You're too worried. 不担心. 放松.
relax. Right?
Relax. Yeah, 放松. Okay?
Yeah.
Don't worry so much. It's just language.
Yeah. Okay. I have a problem question that the subtitle is not working.
Yeah,
in
they have a
your-
problem with that. It's not me. It's Hello Talk. Yeah, Hello Talk has a problem with it. I'll tell them again now. Hold on.
Yeah, I tried to restart my phone and
No, it's
restart
not.
the app.
It's not that.
It doesn't work.
It's Hello Talk.
Oh, okay.
Let me just show them. Let me take a quick video here so they can see.
Yeah, I took a video and talked to the
Yeah.
customer service.
Yeah. Again, I have people from Hello Talk that I work with, and they, I let them know when things are not working correctly. So we've been talking about this for a few weeks now, that the subtitles haven't been
Really?
working right. Yeah. So they
So
said it was
only in
fixed
your
one
room,
time.
right? In your life.
I don't know. See, one reason why my room is different than other rooms is because most people use their phone to do their live streams, but I do not. I use my computer.
Oh.
And so
Maybe that's the problem. right?
That's the problem, is that it's more complicated to use the computer. And I guess they don't know how. I hate to say it that way, but it seems like it shouldn't be this hard. It really shouldn't be this hard to figure out some of these things, but it seems like it really is. So, I use my computer to do this. That way I can use my nice microphone and all the extra equipment that I use to make it better. But because I am one of the only people who uses their computer to do it, I think they just don't really care too much about making it good for me. They only worry about the people who use their phone. So,
I tried to use the Hello Talk on my computer, but I can't use it.
well,
How can you use it?
You can't use it for watching the live streams. You can only use HelloTalk on your computer for typing or talking with people in chats.
Oh,
But I can use it to do my live streams, and that's it. That's for making the live stream. If you know how to, you can do that.
yeah,
But
I
that's
can do
different.
live stream, but I can't use it on my computer.
Well, if you talk to the HelloTalk people, they should be able to help you figure out how.
Okay.
Okay.
But I don't do a live stream, so
Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to make a live stream, you can do that on your computer. If you're trying to watch one, you can't. That's the difference. So, Tracy, just you need more confidence. Confidence is a very important part of language because language is a performance. Okay? You can't
I
perform
don't
well if
think
you're not confident.
I'm not confident.
Okay. But you said you worry about whether you're saying things right or not. That's confidence.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of making mistakes.
Well, that's
I just
good.
don't know if it's right or wrong.
Well, it's better to make a mistake and say something wrong than not say anything at all.
Yeah, but here when I talking to people, usually they don't tell me when I make mistakes.
Well, that's right, because the majority of the people on HelloTalk are just normal people. They're not teachers. Some of them may not even know. They don't even know what to tell you. They don't use language that way. Americans do not know the rules of grammar on the whole. We learn grammar rules in school when we're kids, and then we never think about it ever again. So if you walk up to the average person and talk to them in America and say, hey, can you explain gerunds to me, or the past participle, or the difference between future present and past perfect, or whatever? No, they can't. They cannot answer those questions. English teachers maybe could. Or if you just graduated, maybe you could. But the rest of them, no, they can't. They don't know and they don't care.
Yeah.
So
But for us,
here's the trick then.
Yeah.
So here's the trick.
Go ahead.
You need a teacher.
Yeah.
Teachers are valuable because they have those answers. But a lot of people on HelloTalk, you expect the average person to teach you. No, that's not how HelloTalk works. HelloTalk is a good place to find friends who can possibly give you some practice and maybe give you some tips. But if you want real advice and real help, then you need to pay for that. You need to get a teacher and pay for that. Okay? Teachers are valuable for a reason. You can't just say, well, I don't have the money. Get the money. If you really want to learn, then get the money. I don't know anyone who has, like, put it this way. Everybody I know who has met a really amazing teacher, they've never said, well, I didn't think the money was worth it. If you meet an amazing teacher, you're going to think that the money was well spent. Okay?
Yeah. You are amazing. You are an amazing teacher.
Well, yeah, and I'm the only one who's, well, not the only one, but I'm one of the few who are here trying to help people for free. But I still have to make my money by teaching private lessons. So, yeah, if you want lessons with me, go to my profile and get lessons with me, and I can help you a lot more than I can here.
Yeah.
But again,
Maybe after 1 month,
sure.
when I'm not very busy, yeah, I will.
Okay, yeah, look me up. Which, by the way, I will go ahead and tell everybody, I have a new website. I just made it public yesterday. If you want to, you can go to my website and sign up for my website. It's afiecenglish.com. afiecenglish.com. I just put it in the chat there. AFIEC means a friend in every corner. A friend in every corner, English. So, go to my website and you can find, I also have group lessons available now on my website. So if you can't afford my private lessons, then you can get a group conversation class, and that might help you. Okay, I do group conversation classes between 6 and 10 people for 1 hour. And I choose a topic, and we have a guided conversation where I will ask you many questions about these topics, and you have to answer. And if you don't know how to answer correctly, I will tell you. Or if I can give you some tips about how you can speak better, then I will tell you. Okay? And it's cheap. Okay? I wanted to try to, I know many people can't afford my private lesson price, but I wanted to help more people, so I now have group classes. And if you buy 12 lessons, then the group class, each lesson is only $3.75. That's cheap.
Yeah, really cheap.
Yeah. If you want a private lesson, if you buy 12 of them, then you can get the price that's $12.50 for a half an hour and $25 for an hour. And that's one-on-one. Yeah,
$12.50?
$12.50 or $25 for half an hour and an hour. Okay?
Oh, that's cheap too.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that's cheap too. That's what I said. Yeah. If you only get one lesson, it's $15 and $30. But if you buy 12, then you can get the cheaper price. So go to my website, afiecenglish.com, and you can look through all my different lesson package deals and sign up for lessons if you want them. Okay?
So, if it's a one-to-one, one-on-one class, how often do you have one
You can
class?
get them as often as you want.
Oh,
You schedule them, and I show up.
recently, yeah,
Most
I just
people do once
got
a
my
week.
new job, so I'm very busy recently.
Sure.
Maybe after 1 month.
Okay, yeah.
I will.
Most people do once a week or maybe twice a week, but I do have some students who do almost every day.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right, Tracy, I'm going to let you go, but it was nice to talk to you. Just come on, keep going. Jiao, you can do it.
Yeah. Nice talking to you too.
Nice talking to you. Take care.
Yeah. Have a nice day. Bye.
Okay, let me see. I think I missed some comments here. Alex wants some books for understanding life and economics. Economics, I think you shouldn't read books so much as you should read magazines, because economics is a always changing thing. So the book you read from 10 years ago might not even be valuable today anymore. So, and let me, here's, I wrote a book about economics. It has 3 words. Do you want me to read it to you? Here's my book about economics. People are greedy. That's economics in a nutshell. What's the difference between present and prison? Do you mean the pronunciation? Listen to me. Present, 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 prison, prison, prison. So present. Open your mouth more when you say present and put a T on the end. Prison has no T on the end, and it's an I, smaller mouth. Okay? All right. Again, Ashraf, if you have a limited time, then go to my YouTube channel. Okay? You can follow me on YouTube. No time limit. Okay? What time am I here? I do live streams Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, usually around 9:30 a.m. That's in New York City time. So in Beijing time, that's going to be 9 or 9:30 p.m. Okay, so usually it's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 a.m., 9:30 a.m. in that's New York City time, Eastern Standard Time. Hello, Jesus. How much is the price to receive private classes with me? $12.50 for a half an hour or $25 for an hour. That's if you buy 12. If you only buy one, then it's $15 for a half an hour or $30 for an hour. Okay? You're in, guys. I know everybody wants recommendations about books, but I'm not. That's not. I can't give you I have not read everything in the world, so I don't know. Google is a better place to find recommendations about books. Not me. Okay? I don't know anything about football. I can't tell you anything about football. Read about Pele. That's the only thing I know. That's how old I am. Okay? So for entertainment, yeah, I don't know either, Ashraf. If you want to know suggestions about books, everybody, the books that I like will not necessarily be the books that you like. So there's not really that much use in asking me what I like. The food that I like, not necessarily the food that you like. I love jazz music. You might not. You can try it. I won't say you shouldn't try it. But you should explore books. You should explore food. You should explore music. Okay? I can talk about playing the drums. Okay, sure. What do you want me to say? I can talk about that all day. Are you a drummer, Akila? You are? Okay. Who's your favorite drummer? I'm a big fan of Steve Gadd. I'm also a big fan of John Bonham. I'm also a big fan of Jack DeJohnette. How long have you been playing the drums, Akila? I've been playing for how long now? I don't even know. What is that now? 36 years, 37 years? A long time. Okay, let's talk to Naya. Naya, are you there? Hello, Naya. Let me try one more time. Naya, do you want to come talk to me? Okay, Naya's busy, I guess. How about Saranya? Hello, Saranya.
Hi, Mark. How are you?
Nice to meet you. I'm fine. You're in India. What city are you in?
I'm in Chennai. It's a south part
Chennai.
of India.
Okay. All right. And what can I do for you today?
I have one question.
Okay.
Because now I'm working in the school as a teacher, but I want to work in IT sector in future. So I'm a computer engineering graduate, but I couldn't crack the interview because my communication is not good before. But after that, I started to work for my communication. So I found this application. So I'm talking with the people here. So could you give me any suggestions for me?
You sound good. I don't see how you should have any problem now. You sound fine. You sound confident. You sound clear. You have an Indian accent, but it's not a problematic one.
Okay.
I think that if most people would hear you speak, I don't think they would have a problem understanding you. There are some people accents are only a problem if they're unclear. I don't care what accent you have. You can speak English perfectly well with any accent from anywhere. It's only a problem if people can't understand you. And most of that is about not moving your mouth enough. Okay?
Oh, okay.
So you sound fine from what I can tell. You sound confident. It sounds like you're thinking in English. Your listening skills seem to be good. Your speaking speed is good. Your clarity is good. I think you're doing fine.
Okay, so before you said something about the stay public speaking, right? So you mentioned that you need practice more. So, but for me, I'm from the rural area, so I don't have much opportunity to talk with the people in English. But I'm using this application. But compared to the public speaking, this one is different, right? But this application, I can't show up. I have the good communication in public speaking, right? So we need the stage to talk with the people, or group discussion or something like that. We need, right?
Well, the secret that I tell everybody here, and I've said it 10 times already today, is just that if you really want to practice a language, you must learn how to think in that language.
Okay.
If you think in English, then you can practice thinking in English all day.
Okay.
And that's the secret of being comfortable with language. Okay?
Okay.
There's a famous painter named Rembrandt. He says, use what you know, and then you will find out now what you do not know. And that's great because it means you can use the language that you have. And if you find something that you don't know how to say in English, write it down. That's your homework. And
Okay.
that's going to be a great way to figure out the practical language that you need for your life because you're thinking all day using that language. If you find things you don't know how to say, that's part of your life. That's important. Those are practically useful things to learn, right?
Yes.
So thinking is the secret of all language. And you're right. You're not going to get enough practice. Like, I always thought it was hilarious when people would say, if you can move to a country where they speak that language, you'll really improve. Well, of course you will. But nobody has the money to just move to a country to learn English. That's silly. But you can learn how to think in English in any country in the world. You
Okay.
just have to change your mind. Just like I can change the language in my phone anytime I want, right?
Yes.
So change the language in your mind.
Okay. I will do that.
It takes time. It takes practice. Okay, if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll find a 5-minute video that'll tell you the 4 steps that I give for how to learn how to think in English. Okay? It
Okay.
starts with simple things like baby English. What do babies think about? They think about, I'm hungry, I'm tired, I'm happy, I'm sad. I want this, I don't want that. I like this, I don't like that. I need this, I don't need that. Those are all very, very simple things, and we have thoughts like that all the time. But you just do it in your native language. Stop. Just think those in English. Okay? The more things that you find that you can think in English, the more you should.
Okay.
Okay? And I'm telling you that's the brilliant thing about that trick is that you don't need to spend any special time studying. right? You know, everybody thinks learning a language takes a long time, and they're right. It does. If you're trying to learn by studying 2 hours every day, then yeah, that's going to take a long time. But if you learn how to think in English, you can spend most of your day thinking in English. And then when you need to speak English, you will be ready.
Okay. Yeah, I understand.
Okay? But most people just don't do that. I know it's difficult, but it's not impossible. And it is the secret to all language. Language starts in the mind. Okay?
Yeah, that's true.
So just, you know, create a little system for yourself and find. I have a bunch of notebooks over in my bookshelf of things that I wrote down that I didn't know how to say in Chinese and I had to learn how to say.
Yeah, that is true because I'm not interested to read a book. So sometimes I push hard myself to read, but even though I don't have interest to read, so for myself I feel that so I don't have interest to read that. So I have to find which one is make me interesting. So that's why I find this application because I love to talk with the people. I
Well,
love
that's
to.
good. Yeah, you know, definitely do things that you're interested in. And as far as reading goes, if you're not interested in reading that book, then find one that you are interested in. There are millions of books, and some of them are really good, but you have to find what speaks to you. When you find a reader, or I mean, I should say, an author that you really love, it's like addiction. You know, you'll be addicted to reading their stuff. But yeah, you can't just pick up any book and expect to love it. Books are like music. You're not going to like everything you hear. You have to find the stuff that you really like, and then you'll know, and you can kind of stay in that vein. Okay?
Yeah, so yeah, that's true. So recently I found one book that a kids novel, but even though I like to read that book because it's related to the girl story. So that's why I love that.
There you go. Yeah. Find the things you love. Learning is much easier when you're doing things you enjoy.
Yeah, that is true.
You can't always. That's why we respect people who are really smart, because we know that they had to study a lot and that sometimes studying is not fun. Okay? It can't always be fun, but you should try to make it fun as much as you possibly can. You should not try to make learning boring. That's definitely not good. You know? So you should do your best to try to find every opportunity to make learning interesting and fun. It can't always be, but you should do everything you can to find every opportunity to make it that way.
Yeah, that is true. I have one more question. Did you learn any other language apart from your native language?
I speak Chinese.
Okay, so when did you learn? Okay, so when are you learning that language? What are the difficulties did you face it before?
Well, I taught myself Chinese mostly. I lived in Taiwan for 4 years, and when I was there, that helped a lot. But I was studying it for about 6 years before that. And Chinese is really different from English, so there are a bunch of things that make that language specifically difficult if you're a native English speaker, like learning the tones of Chinese, right? So the word 水饺 and 睡觉, those are two different words. One means sleep and the other one means dumplings.
Yeah.
The tone of the word changes the meaning completely, right? And then I would say the one thing that's easy about Chinese is that the grammar of Chinese is very easy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Chinese grammar is so basic in most cases that's one thing that gave me an advantage, because you don't have to worry about the grammar, so it makes it easier to think about things. You just put together the words in your mind, the vocabulary. If you have the vocabulary, then the grammar's not usually a big deal. There are a few tricks to it, but not many. not compared to English. English has a lot of different little rules that you're supposed to know. But and then of course writing and reading it is a bit more difficult. But if you're just learning how to speak it, it's actually not as bad as many people think.
Okay. Yeah.
So, Chinese is a fun language to learn. It's difficult, but it's not impossible. And again, I think that I've always been a self learner. So it's because actually when I was in school, I struggled a lot because my brain works a little bit differently. And so I couldn't learn the same way everybody else did in class. They would teach everybody one way, and that way just didn't work for me. And it always made me feel stupid. And then when I got out of school, I started just learning things on my own. And I realized I'm not stupid. I just don't do it the way they do it. And then I started understanding the process of learning better. And I started understanding how to create a way to learn something, a method. That's the problem, is that when you want to learn something, you always go to somebody else and ask them what method you should learn. And sometimes they have good methods, but not always. And maybe those methods might be good for some people, but not for everyone.
Yes, I understand that. Yeah,
So,
that is true.
right. So for me, it was a big revelation for me to figure out that if I create my own system of learning, that will work for me. So, for example, drumming. I had many teachers who helped me learn drumming, but along the way, I taught myself a lot. And I think that most musicians are this way. We have a period of studying with a teacher, and we have a period of self-learning. And we understand that it's a balance between the two, that you have to study with a teacher who will give you some tips and tricks, and then you have to take those and do that on your own and then go further with it. You have to take it further than they did, right? And so I apply that same concept to everything that I learn now. And that's how I was able to teach myself Chinese.
Yes. So when you're learning some other language, like you know that lot of things, right? So what is your strength and what is your weakness? Like how we
Yeah,
have to.
that's exactly right. That's exactly right. I have a system that works for learning anything now. I have some tricks that I do. Like people ask me, what's the best way to learn? Like they think that there's only one way. Like they want me to say, well, watching videos is the best way. You can learn everything from watching videos. No, no. When I learned drums in the beginning, I remember I had one book, right? And so here's a perfect example. Most people, when they learn a musical instrument, they get book one and they finish book one, and then they get book two, and then they finish book two, and then they get book three, and then they finish book three. I actually think that's a stupid way to learn anything. If you want to learn something, get every book from every level that you can in the beginning. That way, I call that your mountain of learning. Now you see the mountain you're trying to climb, and you understand how big it is and how much there is to do. Right? So when I wanted to learn drums, I had a stack of books about this tall, 30, 40 books, all from different things, reading, different styles of music, techniques, all kinds of things, right? All stacked up next to my drums there. And what I would do is I would study in one, I would, practice in one for 30 minutes or an hour or longer until I got frustrated or bored. And then I would put that book down, take 5 minutes, 10 minutes maybe, and practice, just play for fun for a minute. And maybe I would try to use the ideas that I just learned somehow in that book, but I would try to play for fun for a few minutes. Then I would pick up the next book and do something different. And so I'm always keeping my interest because I have so many things to look at.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's the same way that I do with everything now. And I also understood that when you're learning music, you have to understand how many different angles there are to look at, right? So there's technique, there's physical technique, there's music theory, there's reading, there are styles of music to learn, things like dynamics. Those are all different aspects of music. So as a teacher, when I teach English, I have 8 basic aspects that I teach my students. Reading, writing, listening, speaking, thinking, which is the most important one, grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation.
Okay.
So I attack my students in those 8 ways. I tell them, okay, this is what we need to work on. And you have to have a plan for each one of those, a method for each one of those. And the more ways that you can break it down, the better.
Yeah, yeah, you can be a good teacher because, like, what I'm thinking is, who is involving learning the other language? They might be understand what are the difficulties they
Of
are
course.
facing in learning the language.
And I have learned other languages too. The first language I learned when I was 15 was Latin, and that was really hard. Latin. There's a reason no one speaks Latin anymore because it's a stupidly hard language. And I failed terribly in that language, but it did teach me one very difficult and important thing: etymology. Etymology means the history of where English words come from. 60% of English words come from Latin or Greek. Okay. And then I studied German for 3 years too. And I didn't do very well in German either. But the reason why is because they told me all about reading and writing and listening and speaking. But for 3 years, I studied German, and at no point did anyone ask me what language I was thinking in. And so now I've realized, musicians, we think music all the time. We can practice music all the time because we can think it in our minds. And I now teach everybody to do the same thing with language.
Yes, that is true. Yeah.
So that's why now I focus on reading, writing, listening, speaking, and thinking. Thinking is the most important one. If you don't have that, then you're not going to get the other ones well.
Yeah.
And then by studying all these different languages, I also know a little bit of Italian because when you learn music, there's a lot of Italian. And when I'm also a good cook, and cooking also has a bunch of Italian and French. So I know a little bit about 13 different languages. A little bit. I'm not talking about a lot. But like I can say hello in a whole bunch of languages. I know a handful of phrases in a bunch of languages. I've studied Latin, German, Italian, Spanish. I wouldn't say I've studied French, but I know a little bit. A little tiny bit of Slovak, Russian, Japanese, Arabic. And knowing just a little bit helps a lot. Just knowing a little helps a lot to understand things about the mouth position and pronunciation and even grammar, So it gives you a lot of insight So, for example, I don't speak Hindi, but I can say namaste. And I also know that I've listened to people speak Hindi and Tamil, and both of those languages have a similar rhythm and a similar mouth position. The mouth position is mostly fairly closed. It's a small mouth.
Yeah, that is true.
And that's the reason why a lot of people who speak English have a difficult time with the pronunciation because they're keeping their mouth in that same small position so it won't be clear. And they also have the same rhythm. They're speaking pretty fast with that same sharp, quick rhythm. And that sharp, quick rhythm, if you apply that to English, it doesn't sound as good and it's harder for us to hear it. So I tell them to change the rhythm of their language. Don't make it so staccato. Staccato is an Italian word that means short and sharp and quick. I tell them to make it more legato, which means long and flowing.
Oh, yeah.
So
See, this much is we should learn from the language, right? So, yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So I don't know anything about Hindi, but I know what it sounds like. And as a musician, I pay attention to sound. And rhythm, especially as a drummer. So there are insights that I've been able to make about certain languages because of my musical ability. Musicians all have a huge advantage in learning languages because musicians all know how to listen.
Oh, yeah. Then
Listening is
that.
the most important part of playing a musical instrument.
Hmm.
So, anything else I can help you with today?
Yeah, Mark. After talking with you, some of the thing I know well today. Before, I don't have that much awareness about languages. Like now, I'm thinking, so I have to listen every single words while the native speaker is speaking.
Yeah, that's right. Language is just another kind of music, in my opinion. Music and language are so similar. They're both sound. They're both sounds. They're things we hear.
Yes, so I should focus for that the rhythm and the way of speaking, like
Yeah,
because our language is we are talking very speed because that is our mother tongue, right?
that's right.
But mm,
Yeah, and
but
you know what, Saranya, there's another little example I tell people sometimes, which is kind of funny. There's a brain disorder called foreign accent syndrome. It's a kind of brain damage that happens. It's very rare, but occasionally someone will fall down and hit their head. And when they hit their head, it damages this part of the brain that involves muscle movement of your mouth. So there's an example of a woman who lived in England for her whole life. She's never been to China, doesn't know anything about Chinese. But one day she fell down and hit her head. And when she woke up the next day, she sounded like she had a Chinese accent.
oh,
She didn't have a Chinese accent, but the brain damage affected her mouth movements and they changed the sound of her English that made it sound like a foreign accent. So that's why it's called foreign accent syndrome. You can look it up. And I use this example so that you understand how important the movements of your mouth are to language. When I speak Chinese, I use a small mouth. When I speak English, I use a big mouth.
so for English, which mouth I have to use it?
Big. For American English, big. Okay?
Okay.
I teach people that you should speak like an actor.
Oh, so
Okay.
how can I practice for that?
Well, I'll tell you, when I was 15, I had an acting class, and they told us that you have to imagine that your grandmother is coming to watch you, and you're performing Shakespeare, okay? And there are no microphones on the stage, and she's sitting in the back of the room, and it's like 500 people in the room. And if you want grandma to hear you and understand you, then you can't mumble, okay? Mumbling sounds like this. To be or not to be? That is the question. You're not moving your mouth enough, so you're not clear. That's why people say, why can I understand you, Teacher Mark? I can understand everything that you say, but when other people speak, I can't understand them because I move my mouth. That's why. Okay. There's even an exercise. Hold on, I'll give it to you here. There's a pronunciation exercise that a lot of actors or broadcasters do. Let me find it. What they do is before the camera turns on the news, there are many people who do this. They'll say, the lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue, the lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue, the lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue, the lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue. And that is like a tongue twister. Tongue twisters that's what they are for. They're for improving your mouth movements. Okay. So those are great. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Betty bought a bit of bitter butter. She sells seashells down by the seashore. She sells seashells down by the seashore. If you're not moving your mouth enough, then you won't be able to do those properly. Okay. That's one thing. Then the other thing is you have to understand that it all starts with the vowels in English. In English, it's the vowels. So A-E-I-O-U, not A-E-I-O-U.
Okay.
Look at my mouth. Look at the difference. Watch. A-E-I-O-U, A-E-I-O-U, or A-E-I-O-U, A-E-I-O-U. You're not moving your mouth enough. Chinese people in particular have this problem. Lots of Chinese people have a very difficult time hearing the difference between the short E and the short I sound. And it's mostly because they're hearing people who are not moving their mouth enough, and they're not moving their mouth enough.
I understand. Yeah. So that's why they have the trouble to make the different like accent, because still they are struggling to
Move their mouth, right?
move their.
That's right. Yeah. And so again, this teacher told me, when you go to the front of the stage, you have to pronounce it clearly and speak with a good projection so that grandma can hear you, right? So to be or not to be, that is the question. Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? Right? Speak like people can hear you. Move your mouth.
Yeah.
That's the key. The lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue. The lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue.
The lips,
The teeth,
the teeth,
the tip of the tongue.
tip of the tongue.
Yeah, except you said tongue. Tongue.
Tongue.
Yeah, flowing like music, Saranya, like you're singing. The lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue. The lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue. Okay, especially for you because you're Indian, you need to try to focus on making your language more flowing and legato because the nature of Hindi is more staccato and sharp. So when you say it, try to make them blend together like you're singing. Like you're singing. The lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue. The lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue.
The lips, the teeth, tip of the tongue.
That's it. The lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue. Okay?
Okay.
And this is something I do in my private lessons often. I have a
Yeah,
whole
sure.
system. In Chinese, they have a system they teach for Chinese pronunciation called Bapa Muffa. And it's a way of pronouncing all the different sounds. Bapa, Muffa, Da, Ta, Na, La. They have this whole system of learning the proper movements of the mouth for pronunciation. And when I learned that, I thought, well, that's really great. English, we have phonics, but most phonics systems are not very well organized, in my opinion. Like, they don't have a very good systematic way of doing it. So I created my own, actually. And I start with the vowels, A, E, I, O, U, and A, E, I, O, So first you have to learn how to get those properly spoken. And then you can add the consonants to the front of them. So B, 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 ba, 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 bi, ba, ba. C, 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 ka, 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 ki, ka, ka. D, 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 da, 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 di, da, da. Now, I'm doing it pretty fast because I want to demonstrate, but you should do it more slowly and more carefully. Okay? Proper movement is better than fast movement. And remember one other important thing, everybody. Language has no speed. Many of you believe that if you speak fast, that means you speak well. No, that's just not true. Is fast music the only good music?
No.
No. Music is just like language. There are times when you should speak fast, and there are times when you should speak more slowly. Okay? But in general, I will tell you that the faster you speak, the less meaning your words have. But the slower you speak, the more meaning your words have. Look, I just did it. By slowing down, you listen to me more. But if I speak really quickly like this, then every word goes by really fast and you can't really focus. Right? So language has no speed. Don't think you need to speak fast. You need to speak well. The goal of language is not speed. The goal of language is control. The same thing is true with music. We're not trying to learn how to play faster. We're trying to learn how to play controlled so that we can play slow, fast, and medium all well.
Yes, that is true. So, like, I feel that you are a scientist of language.
Well, that's just because I've spent time thinking about it.
Yes.
I have never studied any of these things. I have not studied language at all in school. Like, Saranya, I think you lost your time limit. But I hope you're still there, able to listen. Yeah. I mean, I appreciate that she said that, that I sound like a scientist of language. That's just because I spend time thinking about it. Anybody can spend time thinking about it. If you think about it long enough, you'll think the same things I do. Okay? So it was good to talk to you, Saranya. I assume maybe you ran out of time. Apple, well, I just told you I have my own system of teaching pronunciation where you have to practice the vowel sounds, and learn how to say the vowel sounds correctly with a big mouth, and then add the consonants to them. Okay? I know it sounds funny, and I know it sounds weird, but it's a very effective system. Okay? What does wow sound like? Wow. Wow. Wah. Ow. Wow. Okay? All right. What time is it? What's the difference between an order and a request? It depends on the context, but an order is usually more of a demand. Okay? So it depends on the context. Sometimes an order is just a request for something. So, for example, I ordered something from Amazon. That just means you requested to buy something. Okay? You bought something. There's an order. So sometimes order means a purchase of something. But if you're talking about in conversation with people, I order you to do this, or I request you to do this. If you say I order, that's I'm demanding something. But if you just say I request you do this, that's just asking. A request is just a question. You're just asking someone to do something for you. But if you say I order you to do it, now you're demanding that they do it. Okay? The lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue. The lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue. But you think it's ugly and impolite when you open your mouth so big to speak? Well, you're wrong. Is it ugly and impolite when I speak? No. It's clear. Okay? Aragon, the problem you have is that you are worried about what people think. You're worried about what other people think when they see you. Okay? But you have to make a decision. Are you more worried about what people think about you, or are you more worried about your learning? It doesn't matter if they think that you look silly. It matters if it works. This is true for many of you. Many of you are too worried about shame. You're too worried about embarrassment. You're more worried about your embarrassment than you are about your progress. Make a decision. Which one is more important to you? Progress or being embarrassed? Okay? All right. And again, if you really want help with this, then you should go to my new website and you can get lessons. Okay? Hello, Victor. Good to see you. All right. I have time to help one more person, maybe. How about Jamarl? Hello, Jamarl.
Hello.
You You want me to turn the camera off?
Yeah,
Oh, no,
I'm
there we go.
I'm
Okay.
here.
Hello, Jamar. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Good. And you're in China, in what city?
Zhengzhou City.
Zhengzhou. Okay. All right.
Have you ever heard of Zhengzhou?
I have. I have
Yeah, I
friends
know
there.
you know China very well.
I know it pretty well. I know most cities. Yeah. Maybe the very small ones, maybe I don't know, but all the big ones I know. So,
Yeah.
Jamar, what can I do for you today? Do you have any questions for me or something I can help you with?
About English teaching, you know. Yeah, I might a question about teaching English recently, you know.
Okay. Teaching
Yeah.
English or learning English?
Teaching.
Okay.
Teaching.
So, are you a teacher?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
English teacher.
Great. Okay. So, what can I do for you? How can I help you?
Well, what do you think of grammars and reading for English? Which is more important, grammar or reading?
I think reading.
Reading?
Because reading can teach you grammar.
Yeah.
Grammar is weird because if you study grammar just like it's a list of rules, you're not understanding how it's practically used. But if you read enough, you'll start to see how the grammar is used. The same thing is true when I read Chinese. If I read Chinese enough, then I see these words are supposed to go here, and this one is supposed to go here, and this is how they say it. So I don't know the rules. I didn't have a grammar book for it, but I learned the grammar rules by reading. So I think reading is probably more important. But it's really hard when people ask me these questions, which one is more important, grammar or pronunciation, or grammar and reading, or reading and writing. They're all important. You know, that's like asking which finger is the most important. They're all pretty important in one way or another. Okay?
Yeah.
But I think, especially in China, I think there's too much focus on grammar.
Yeah. Because I'm a middle school teacher, you know, middle school English teacher. Most of the time we teach students grammars.
Yeah.
More than reading.
Yeah. Well, I think you should focus more on reading and focus more on using the language. And here's the other problem. The other problem is when you focus on grammar so much, they hate learning. Everybody hates grammar.
Yeah.
Grammar is no fun. It's not fun at all. It's boring. It's difficult.
boring.
It's
Yeah,
hard.
it's boring.
Right. Yeah. But reading could be interesting. You know?
Yes.
So I definitely think that this is not just true with China, but I just have experience with when I taught English in Taiwan, I realized that they just focus too much on the books and the grammar and not enough on trying to use the language. And so I met so many people who studied English for many, many, many years, but they still can't use it very well. That's because they focus too much on grammar. Too much on grammar, not enough on practical usage.
I want to know, in America, do students learn grammars in school?
We do, but we learn it when we're kids, and then we forget it completely. So if you walk down the street in America and you ask somebody, can you tell me about gerunds, or can you tell me about past participles, or can you tell me about future present or present perfect? They can't. They've forgotten. They don't remember the rules anymore. They know how to speak, but we don't think about the rules very often.
Do you learn tense?
Yeah, of
future
course.
tense.
Yeah,
Present
we
tense.
learn them, but we learn them when we're young. And the same thing is true about language as is true about music. In music, we learn the rules so that we can forget the rules. When we play music, when I play drums with a band, I'm not thinking about the rules of music and what I can and can't do. I'm just trying to express myself musically. The same thing is
Yeah.
true with language. When I'm talking to you right now, I'm not thinking about my grammar at all. There are no
Yeah.
grammar rules in my mind.
Yeah, I see.
It's just I know which words are correct to use through experience. Okay? And actually, Jamal, I will tell you that most kids in America, where we really learn grammar is not from school. We learn it from our environment. So if I'm a young boy and I say, can I has a cookie? Can I has a cookie? My mom will say, no, no, no. Can you have a cookie?
Yeah, yeah.
Right? She'll correct me and then I'll remember. But
Yeah, like I'm reading, I'm watching TV. Maybe they will say this sentence very fluently,
that's
and
right.
not without thinking.
That's right. Exactly. So
Yeah.
so what I'm saying is that we do learn grammar in school, but the way we really learn is through our environment because people will correct us if we speak improperly. Okay?
Yeah.
So that means that when you learn grammar from a book and you try to learn language like it's a set of rules, you're approaching the language the wrong way.
Yes.
You should think about language like music. The purpose of
Yeah.
learning music is to make music. The purpose of learning language is to make language, not to talk about it, not to talk about the rules.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to know in America exam. Exam. They pay more attention what? Reading
For
or
English,
listening, writing.
well, in school, we pay attention to all of those things. In school,
Yeah.
but again, most of us stop focusing on grammar by the time we reach high school, I think. So most of the grammar rules we learn in 1st through 8th grade. And then after that, we're now not talking about grammar rules, or if we are, it's advanced grammar.
Yeah.
But at that point, once you reach 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, we're mostly focusing on advanced grammar or literature. So,
Yeah.
and why do we learn
Literature.
literature? Because literature can teach you advanced grammar. When you study advanced literature, you learn about these advanced concepts of grammar.
Yeah.
So that's why I said reading is more important than grammar, because you can learn a lot about grammar from reading.
Yeah.
And it's less painful. When you study
Yeah, yeah.
grammar by itself, it can be very painful. It's like, wow, this is so boring. So boring. Nobody
Yeah.
likes
So
grammar.
in China, students are tired. Are tired of grammars.
Yeah,
in
I
class.
know.
They feel very
I know.
very boring
Yeah.
Yeah.
I taught English in China, in Taiwan. I know.
in Taiwan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so,
How many years?
4 years.
How many years have you taught in Taiwan?
4 years.
Taught English. How many years?
4.
4 years.
Yeah.
4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love teaching, but the worst
Yeah.
thing about teaching is when you teach people who don't want to learn. And it's so sad when you see a 9-year-old kid who's burned out from learning. But in Taiwan, those kids, most of them, they go to school from 8 in the morning until 8 at night or 9 at night or 10 at night. It's too much. They hate learning now. They just hate it. They don't want to learn anything. And that's why a lot of people in China, they focus on memorizing the answer. They don't really want to learn. They just want the answer so
Yeah.
they can be done. And that's a problem. That's a big problem. Learning is supposed to be about understanding. It's not just supposed to be about memorizing the answers. Anyone can memorize answers, but not everyone can understand.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
again, I don't say this to I'm not trying to be rude or anything. I'm a teacher. I taught there. I'm just saying that the problem is it's about tradition. right? So in China, why do they continue to do it that way? Because that's how they did it last year, and that's how they did it the year before that, and that's how they did it the year before that. 这是传统的. This is a tradition. You know,
Yeah,
they do,
传统的，
right?
传统的。
They do tradition. It's the traditional way. My parents did it that way, so you're going to do it that way. You know,
Yeah, it's true.
right?
Yeah.
But they're afraid to break the rules. They're afraid to break the tradition. And this is something that some people have asked me. Why is it easier for Americans to break traditions? It's very easy and simple reason. Our traditions are not very old.
Yeah.
Our country is only a few hundred years old. So none of our traditions are that important to us that we can't think about changing them. That's one reason. The other reason is because America is a country of multinational people. We have people from every country. They bring their culture here. And sometimes when you bring your culture here, we say, wow, look, they have a different way to do it that's better. We like that. Let's use that. So we change with, you know, when people bring some new ideas that are great, we say, great, let's use that idea. I like that idea. We don't just say, well, that's different than what we've been doing. We can't do that. But again, Chinese traditions are 5,000, 6,000 years old sometimes. And
Yeah.
it's a lot
love
harder
history.
to break those traditions. But traditions are only valuable if they continue to have current value. And education, it's like technology. Technology cannot run on tradition.
Yeah.
You know, computers have to continue to get better. You can't just say, well, the computer last year worked fine, so let's just leave it that way. No, you have to make the computers better every time. Education is the same. Education has to stay on the edge. It can't be traditional. It has to stay on the edge of what's new and what's working. You know, children change, people change, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm not saying these things to insult the Chinese way of doing things in any way. I'm just making an observation that a lot of Chinese students don't learn very well in that way. I have many students from China who have learned English for many, many years. They studied English for many, many years, but they all say the same thing. I studied English for many, many years, but I can't use it very well. And it's because
because Chinese students pay more attention to exam, you know.
that's exactly right.
Yeah. We just want to pass.
That's
the
exactly
English
right.
exam.
You just want to pass.
Yeah.
And again,
Yeah.
the exams are mostly about grammar because it's difficult to test language without focusing on grammar. So that's why. But that's a problem because you're forgetting that it's like if they really wanted to have a good test, it should be about using the language. Using the language. So
like a TOEFL, this exam.
the TOEFL, right? Exactly, right? Yeah, and but I think about it more like music, where if you studied music for 10 years, but after 10 years you could not make a song, everybody would say that's weird. You studied music for 10 years and you can't make one song? That's weird. That's the way they're doing language. You're studying it for many, many years and you can answer the questions about music or about English, but you can't use it. You're supposed to be able to make language, just like a musician that makes music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we should change this way to teach English.
I think
It's
so,
a long,
yeah.
you know, it's a long way. It's a long way.
Yeah, it's going to take time. I know.
Yeah,
It's very
yeah.
difficult to convince people to change. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with the development of technology, our English exam it's changing. You know,
That's
it's
true.
changing.
Right.
Yeah.
So technology
We
might be
pay
the thing
more.
that
We
helps
will
you.
pay more attention to listening and reading and writing, and
That's
cut
right.
down. You know, cut.
That's
grammars.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Grammar is important, but it's not the most important for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I tell
Maybe
people
it's just
that
a process.
when they ask me about grammar, is grammar important, Teacher Mark? I tell them, if you're taking a test, grammar is important. If you're in school, grammar is important. If you're at work, grammar is important. But if you're not in school and you're not at work and you're not taking a test, then no, it's not that important.
Yeah, I see.
Okay? If I say to you, I want go store, that's not proper grammar, but you understand me. If I say store, I want go, that's not proper grammar, but you understand me. If I say, I want store go, that's not proper grammar, but you understand me. So that's why I'm saying that the focus on perfect grammar rather than communication is a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to know who invented the grammar, English grammar.
English grammar comes from a combination of German, Latin, and French language. So there are little bits of it that are taken from each one of those languages. 60% of English words come from Latin or Greek, but a lot of them come from French as well. And English is considered a Germanic language. So it's a combination. And that's why English is difficult, because it has influences from so many different languages. Here's another example. 好久不见. Long time no see.
Long time no see.
That's not proper English grammar, but we use it, right? And everybody knows what you mean when you say it, right?
Yeah.
Nobody cares. Nobody says you can't say that. That's not proper English grammar.
Yeah.
It's communication. Long time no see. That's from Chinese. We stole that from you.
I want to know, long time no see. It's common in America.
Very common. Very common. Everyone knows long time no see.
It sounds like Chinglish.
Yeah, it does. But there's another one. Every once in a while in America, you might hear somebody say, "Let me have a look see. Let me have a look see." 我要看看.
Yeah.
Look see. Look see 看看.
Let's see. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the same thing. That's another one that we took from Chinese that is adapted. So language is not a perfect thing about rules, especially English. English has rules that we've taken from lots of different places and words that we've taken from lots of different places. In English, like the word shampoo. Shampoo, that comes from Hindi. The word alcohol, algebra, caravan, hazard, those come from Arabic. Karaoke comes from Japanese. Let's see, the word restaurant and the word cafe and the word liaison, those come from French. The word school and book and kindergarten, those come from German.
Yeah.
So English is difficult because it has so many influences from so many places.
Yeah.
Both the vocabulary and the grammar.
Yeah. I see. I know that you have taught English for so many years. Can you give me some advice how to teach how to be a good English teacher?
Well, being a good English teacher is just being a good teacher, which just means you have to be patient, you have to be passionate, and you have to be persistent. The three P's.
Persistent.
Yeah, patient, passionate, persistent.
Patient. Yeah.
And passion is so important because when you think about every good teacher you've ever had, they have one thing in common. They're passionate. When you see them, they are passionate. You cannot fake passion. Passion cannot be faked. You cannot pay somebody to be passionate. Either you are passionate or you're not passionate about something. It has nothing to do with how much money you make. You just believe in that thing a lot. So being patient is really important when you're teaching because different students learn at different rates. And you have to understand that some students are ready to learn now and some students will be ready to learn later. So sometimes the student who's the troublemaker in my class, sometimes
they have different levels,
and sometimes that troublemaker might become the best student the next year or the year after. They're like flowers. Some flowers bloom in June, some flowers bloom in May, some flowers bloom in August, some flowers bloom in November. Flowers
Yeah.
bloom at different times. I can't be mad at the flower because it's not blooming at the right time. Right? And so sometimes teachers get upset with students because they're not, learning right now. But it might be because they're not ready yet. And you have to be patient and you have to be persistent. You have to just
Yeah.
keep trying to inspire them with your passion.
You know, in my class, there are about 20 students,
Mm-hmm.
They have different levels,
Mm-hmm.
good students and common students and
Yeah.
bad students.
Yeah.
If face of this situation, how to deal with it?
Well, this is one of the biggest problems with all education for every subject around the world. If I were to make one big change in education around the world, here's what I would do. I would say that every student should have a classroom teacher and every student should have a private teacher. So,
Yeah.
for example, in music, that is normal. That is normal. In music, we have music class, and in class, we learn from one teacher who teaches us everything. But all the good students in that music class, they have a private teacher and they have private lessons once or twice a week where they can learn focused learning that's good for them. So I started as a drum teacher when I was 18, and that was great because it was one-on-one. And that helped me to understand that every student learns in different ways, right? So that I can't just say the same thing to every student. I have to find different ways to communicate with each student, different ways to motivate each student, different ways to inspire each student, right? You have to find how to reach them. You can't just say, well, this is how I do it and you have to do it my way. No, your job as a teacher is to figure out how you can communicate this information to every one of them. So the biggest problem with education all around the world for a long time is that we want one teacher to teach one way to 20 students.
Yeah.
But they won't all understand that. That was my problem in school. I was not a very good student in school because I didn't understand the one way they were trying to show me. I had to figure it out on my own way. So
Yeah.
the best thing that they could do is to have half group teaching and half private teaching. And that way, the student, if they have any problems or questions, they have time to be able to ask a teacher one-on-one, hey, I'm having trouble with this grammar rule. Can we work on that some more? Hey, I'm having trouble with speaking. Can we work on that some more? That's the biggest problem with education around the world, is that education around the world is still based on this idea that one teacher is supposed to teach a group of children, but that group of children all learn different ways. So there will always be some people who don't learn very well in that situation. There will always be a few kids who do very well. That's great. Good for them. But if you want everyone to learn, then it should be half public, half private, half group, half private lessons. Jamarl, time limit again. I think it must be the time limit. And once again, please go to my YouTube channel if you want to. There's no time limit, although we're just about done for the day. There's my YouTube channel if you want it. Yeah, that's the biggest problem with learning today, is if you really want to learn, then you need a private teacher. It's that simple. It's that simple. We don't have enough respect for teachers today. 100 years ago, teachers got a lot more respect than they do today. Now we expect teachers to do a lot for very little. And the pressure that they're under and the expectations that we have for them, it's too much, to be honest. There needs to be more pressure on the parents, and there needs to be a better understanding that every kid needs to learn in an individualized way. Okay? Not just one way for everybody. That just never works. Why do we keep doing it? every student who gets private help does better. True or false? Every student who gets private help, they do better. So why do we keep acting like this is some kind of like strange thing? Wow, that's strange. When he gets private lessons, he does better. Yeah. Because somebody's finally listening to him or her. So, all right. Hello, Hannah and Carolina. And Jasmine. Xin chao. Okay, so it's... okay, I'm going to talk to Chris and maybe King, and then I have to take a break. Hello, Chris Lowe.
Hello, hello,
Hello, my friend. How are you?
hello. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
I'm
you
good,
too.
good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. What city?
Oh, I was listening like a whole hour for you presentation. I
Oh,
mean,
wow. Thank you.
the thing you say is very inspiring me. Like totally, I mean, renew. I mean, understanding about how to learn English. It's
Well,
very helpful. Thank you.
English is a funny thing. Again, language is a funny thing. We've been studying languages and learning languages for the same way for a long time. But nobody wants to question that way. Nobody wants to change that way. But there are lots of things that need to be changed about it. A lot of things. And tradition is usually the reason why we don't change things. But language needs to be more like technology. Language learning needs to be at the very edge of newness. You know, technology can't be good if it's old. Same thing with education. It has to be on the edge of new.
Yeah, so basically what you say, like, then the rhythm, then the flow of the English, then the rhythm, then the understanding, and do more reading, and it's better than grammar. I mean, speak
I'm
up.
not saying that
We
grammar
want-
is not important. I'm not saying grammar is not important, but I'm just saying there's too much of a focus on grammar and not enough focus on practically using the language by reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Language must be practical, or what's the point? You know? It's that
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's correct. So for me, like, I mean, I'm Chinese. Like my pronunciation always got a problem. Like, I could not. I always have same sound, same feel, same rhythm. I mean, that's not like the native speaker, like American, or the England people. They have different, mouths
That's
to
true.
speak different sound. That's kind of question bother me a lot. So for me, like, how do I improve it?
Well, Chris,
Yeah,
I
it's quite
also
hard.
tell people that you do not have to sound like me, and you do not have to sound like you're from Britain or England, I should say. You do need to sound clear. That's the only thing you need to focus on, okay? So I tell people, if you want to sound like me, you can, but it will take you between 5 to 10 years. That's a very long time to try to get that goal. But if you want to sound clear, that only takes 1 year. Okay? So the
Okay.
focus should be on clarity, all right? And I tell people that I don't care what accent you have. You can have any accent from any country and you can speak English perfectly well. You do not have to sound like you were born in America. You do have to sound clear so that people can understand you. And the example that I give people is like a box of crayons, right? Crayons for drawing, right? When you buy a box of crayons, you don't buy the box of all black crayons or all gray crayons or all brown crayons. You want the box that has all the colors, right? Your accent is your color.
Yeah.
Okay? There's nothing wrong with your color. But when you try to draw, if you want to draw something very clearly and with a lot of detail, then your crayon must be sharp. If it's not sharp, then you can't draw clearly. So I don't want you to lose your accent. I don't want you to lose your color. I want you to sharpen it. make it more clear. That's all. So what you have to do is find the words and sounds that are difficult for you in English, right? So for example, Chinese people, many people have a difficult sound with TH because there is no TH in Chinese, right? So you should practice the TH words more and make sure that your mouth position is good when you say the TH sound. Okay? So, or maybe you have a trouble with the R and L. Some Chinese people have difficulty with the R and the L sound. Focus on that. Focus on that. Okay?
Okay. So basically, what I'm trying to do now is I'm preparing for English competition. I mean, a speech competition. It's a presentation speech for like 3 minutes. So what I'm gonna do for do a better presentation. I know. I mean, not Americans do a presentation when they're very young and in the middle school they know how to do a presentation. But for me, like, how do I prepare for that? Only 3 minutes. They give a topic for you, and then you're gonna prepare for 10 minutes and then give a speech. So how do I do that?
Language is a performance. Okay? Language is a performance. 这是那个表演. So you have to try to perform the language. Don't just say the words. Anyone can read. So let me give you an example. One moment. Let me get a book. Okay. So this is Khalil Gibran's The Prophet. Okay, it's a great book I really enjoy. So anyone can read words. All right, I could just say, then an old man, a keeper of an inn, said, "Speak to us of eating and drinking." And he said, "Would that you could live on the fragrance of the earth, and like an air plant be sustained by the light." So anyone can do that, but you have to perform it. Then an old man, a keeper of an inn, he said, "Speak to us of eating and drinking." And he said, "Would that you could live on the fragrance of the earth, and like an air plant be sustained by the light." I'm acting. It's a performance. So if you want people to listen to you, then you must perform the words. Breathe life into your words. Words are like music. I can write the music on a piece of paper and anyone can play it, but only a musician will play it with life. Okay? So when you speak like it's the last chance you're going to get to speak on this earth. So tomorrow you're going to be dead. Tomorrow there's an asteroid that's going to come and hit the earth and kill everyone. You have to speak like that. This is the way every professional musician acts. When we get on stage to perform, we try to imagine this is the last chance I'm going to get to play in my entire life. Tomorrow I might be dead. So I better play like it's the end of the world. Speak that way and people will listen to you. Okay, breathe life into your words. Words have no life until you give them life. Okay?
Okay.
That's
so
the
like
difference.
Feel passion and speak with passion.
That's right. Yeah. That's the difference between one speaker and another. When you hear somebody and you say, "Wow, they speak so well," you are hearing the life they gave to those words. If you like my words, it's because I breathe life into them. I believe in my words. Language is just words until you make it more than that. Okay?
That sounds very sense for me. Like,
that's all you need to do is just believe in what you're saying and speak like It's the last chance you're going to get to speak and breathe life into the words. Just remember that when you speak, you can inspire people if you give those words life. But if you just speak like you're bored, right? So that's the difference between a good teacher and a bad teacher. When you have a bad teacher, they speak like this. Yeah. Okay, class, today open your book to page 121. We're going to read about Khalil Gibran's The Prophet. They're bored. If the teacher is bored, then the students will be bored. But if the teacher is passionate, then the students will be passionate. Okay?
Exactly. Just really, like there's many famous people speech. I like Barack Obama.
That's right.
The guy.
That's right. Yeah, Barack is he's a perfect example. Yeah, Barack is a great speaker. You might not like his politics, some of you, but everybody has to admit he's a brilliant speaker. And he got that way through practice. But he understands performance. And there's another thing that's true about many black speakers. A lot of them, the first time they heard a really great speaker was in church, because a lot of black pastors who lead the church, like Martin Luther King, I have a dream. When he speaks, he's preaching to the entire world, and you hear those words and it's like, wow, that was heavy. Wow, those words give you life, you know? So when a lot of them, when they grew up, they heard really passionate speech in their church. And so that's what inspired them to learn how to speak that way. Not all of them, but many of them. Martin Luther King is another one. You listen to Martin Luther King, any speech from him, wow, man, he really, really speaks like with a lot of passion. He believes in his words. So that's what I tell people is speak like an actor. You can't just say, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? You have to speak like, you have to breathe life into those words, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like when you want to speak, I was like, you can use body language. Actually, you can add the body language. If you cannot describe the exact word,
that's right.
You can definitely use body language.
Body language is very important
to make people believe.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, it's a universal language.
Yeah.
So, like you say, like language is a communication tool. It doesn't matter. The accent is matter. It is matter to let people understanding you. But
right, clarity.
As long as you can do, as long as you can do. Within the limited minutes.
That's right.
You can use everything you can get.
That's right.
And just show what you really want to express.
Yeah, it's not just about your pronunciation. Pronunciation is part of it. But again, the goal of English pronunciation should not be to sound like me. The goal should be to sound clear. So you can sound perfectly clear speaking English with a Chinese accent, a Japanese accent, a French accent, a German accent, a Russian accent. I don't care what accent you have. You can speak English perfectly well. The language is not the accent. Okay? So when I speak Chinese, I know I sound like an American, but I don't care. I'm not trying to pretend like I was born in China. I only care if you understand me. That's all I care about.
Yeah, exactly. You got a point, man. You really got a point. I was like, it's totally renew my thought. I was not able to think like you say. Just say the things. I was thinking like English. You have to learn the pronunciation. You have tried to learn the American accent. Sounds like American. Or learn the grammar. And no, that's not true.
Chryslo, here's one more thing. Where are Americans from? Americans are from everywhere. Okay, so my neighbor up the street, he's American. He's from Taiwan, but he's American. My grandfather was from Slovakia. My other grandfather was from Ireland. That's not from here. They sounded differently. So you have to remember that about America. America is a country made of people from everywhere. So that means every accent is an American accent. We have people in our government who have accents. We have people in our government who have accents. So what? Nobody says you can't do that. You can't be an American government if you don't have an American accent. No, nobody cares because we are people from everywhere. So I don't care what accent you have. I care what you say. That's it.
Exactly. Very inspiration. Very inspiring. I mean, you sounds very good. I mean, that is totally is that. I mean, but I just like I was like 2 days ago. I was talking with my friend like he's a Indian people, and I talk about hey, how do you learn English? I would say try to imitation with someone speak. I think you don't have to. I mean, like you say, you have to. You have only the only thing you have to do is speak clearly.
That's right.
Speak clearly. Let people understanding you. I
Language
mean,
is not about
it
perfection.
doesn't matter how fast you speak.
That's right. Language is
Yeah.
not about perfection.
Speak clearly,
Language is about
speak
communication and expression. That's right. Yeah. You don't need to speak quickly. You need to speak clearly.
Yeah, but you do have to learn some slang or adding, right? Or just make some slang. Can we make some slang? Or
Make some what?
that's a question. I mean, slang. I mean, slang or some
Slang.
adding
Slang.
slang. Yeah.
I don't use very much slang when I'm here, do I? I don't. I very rarely use slang. I always tell people that you should learn the proper way to speak a language before you learn the improper way. Okay, so slang is fun, but slang is not the most important part of a language. No. Okay, that's the problem is many times when you watch TV shows or movies, you hear a lot of slang and you hear a lot of common language, and then you're confused because it's not the same language that you heard in a book. But that's because TV and movies are those are not supposed to teach you anything. They're not supposed to teach you about language. TV and movies are only about entertainment. They don't care about the language at all. Not at all. If you really want to learn about language,
Totally different.
that's right. Then you need to focus on things that are supposed to teach you, right? Documentary films, those might be better for learning language because they have a more academic level of language when you watch a documentary, right? But a movie, the movie, I don't know, like, if you're watching Fast and Furious, okay, or one of those movies, okay, those are fun movies, but that has nothing to do with learning English. Nothing to do with it, okay? And the truth is, sometimes those people in the movies, they don't sound like me. I don't speak like that.
Exactly.
I don't speak like that. That's the movies, everybody. It's TV. That's movies. That's not reality. If you want reality, then listen to real people.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That's really true.
So
Some people always think about, you can learn from the movies. I mean, you can improve your listening skills, but you cannot improve your speaking skill.
Well, you can, but you just need to remember what I said. There are no English teachers standing there when they're making the movie saying, no, you can't say that. That's not proper English. No, we don't have any English teachers correcting them. No. So that means that they're using common language. And common language is something that you do want to learn, but you should learn the proper way first. The proper way always works. The proper way is always good. The common way is not always good. So, for example, there are many people here from India, and when they come on my stream, they'll say something, they'll say, I like the way you speak, bro. Or they always use the word bro, okay? Now, that's a cultural thing. in India, in the Hindi language, there's a word for brother, and they often use it in their language. So they think that it's okay to say bro all the time when they speak English, but it's not. It's not. There are lots of situations where you should not say bro. Okay? If I'm in a classroom and I'm teaching and you say, teacher, I really like the way you speak, bro. No, sorry, I'm a teacher. You're in a classroom. That's not the right time to say bro. Okay? So that's why I'm saying that you have to know when you can use common language and when you can't. Common language is not always appropriate. Okay? And to be honest, if you're Indian and you're listening, you can say bro, but you should only say that with your closest friends. With your closest friends. There are times when somebody might actually be a little upset with you, or they might think it's a little weird that you called them bro when they don't know you yet. Okay, now I know culturally in India, that's a way of saying that they want to be brothers with you. They want to treat you like a brother. I get that. But if you want to do that in English, you never hear me say the word bro, but I often say my friend. I'll say, hello, Chris, it was nice to meet you today. How can I help you, my friend? My friend is always safe. That's proper language. You can say my friend to anyone and you'll be okay. Nice to meet you, my friend. How can I help you, my friend? What can I do for you today, my friend? But if I say, hello, bro, nice to meet you, bro. That's common language. Common language is not always appropriate. Not always appropriate. It's a cultural thing.
But it's a cultural thing. You know, in China, like in China, we always say like if we China is like this. So when you face an older person, I mean, you can never say bro or something.
That's
you know,
right.
It's
Yeah,
kind of not respectful.
you guys have
But
ni
when you
hao
face
and ni
somebody-
hao. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Ni hao, ni hao. Yeah,
Right.
that's right. So when you say something to your and the young person, I mean, the age is more young than you. You can only say like 兄弟,
Right.
like 兄弟,
Right.
兄弟. Like that's what the Chinese say. You know, we were not based on the friend relationship. We're based on the age. I
age.
think age is most
That's right.
important for
That's
southern
right.
part China.
And
Age.
that's because
Yeah.
in Chinese
So
culture,
we
it's
face
always
older-
about respecting your elders. It's always about respecting your elders. So that's why you always
Yeah,
address
yeah,
them in
always,
that way.
yeah.
That's right. Yeah. But in English, what I would say is you should always start with proper language and respect everyone, no matter who you're talking to. Whatever age it is doesn't matter. What matters is, are you speaking respectfully, period? So speak in a proper way all the time and you're always safe. And then once you become close with them, then you can decide if you can be more relaxed with your language, right? So when I speak, when I have a band, when I hang out with them, I promise I don't always speak just like this. I use slang. I might even say some bad words sometimes. But that's what it's appropriate for me to speak like that there when I'm around my band. Okay. But when I'm in front of a classroom, I change my language for the classroom. I speak appropriately for a classroom. So it's just like, again, to make another musical analogy, every room that I perform in, I have to change the way I play for that room. If I'm playing for a really big room outside, I can play really hard and loud and it's okay. But if you are sitting right next to me in a small cafe and I'm playing like this, you know, I have to change the way I play for each room. You have to change the way you speak for each room. You have to change the way you speak for each situation. And you have to understand that if you want people to listen to you, that you have to sound good.
Always
Yeah.
like when they almost the market knows. Is that mean that's like I don't know. I don't know. that if we say that, boss, it's definitely gonna fail.
Yeah. But you know,
Yeah.
but again, in Chinese, there are times when I'll say things like, you know, and Yeah, you know, like or
Yeah, yeah,
dui
yeah,
ah,
yeah,
dui
yeah,
ah, dui
exactly.
ah. I don't just say dui dui dui. I say dui ah. You know, there's the ah part of it, right? That's more common,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, right. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
it's more common.
that's right. So again, every language has these little idiosyncrasies about proper ways of speaking and improper ways of speaking, common ways and formal ways. And I always encourage you to understand that if you want people to listen to you, if you want people to think your language is good, and people do judge your language, then you should speak properly as much as you can. Okay? There's a word. The word is linguicism. Linguicism is like racism. Racism means to judge people by their race, right? So if I think something badly about you because of your race, that's racist. It's racism. But people also judge you by your language, and that's called linguicism, okay? And it's going to happen. You're going to be judged by your language, so you should try to speak as well as you can all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Teacher Ma.
You're
Thank
welcome,
you. It's
Chris.
very inspiring me. Thank you.
You're very
I think I gotta go,
welcome.
but
Yeah.
I will definitely come with you again. You know, it's very inspiration from your speech. What you tell me very makes sense. I mean,
Thank you. I'm
thank
glad.
you.
I'm glad. It
All
was
right.
nice to meet you, and I will see
Yeah,
you
I
next
will
time then,
too.
okay, Chris? Have a good night.
Nice to meet you.
Take care, my friend.
Yeah, you too. You too. Bye bye.
Okay, everybody, it is almost 12 p.m. here. It's time for me to take a break and have some lunch, and then I got to work a little bit more on my website and some other things I have to do today. Before I forget, don't forget to go to my website, afiecenglish.com. I just started my website. I just opened it just yesterday, actually. So it's brand new. Go check it out. There are lessons there. If you would like to get lessons, you can get lessons there. I have private lessons and group lessons now. So if you want group conversation lessons where you really want to practice your English, I have guided conversation classes. So it's between 6 to 10 people only in each class. They're 60 minutes long. I'll choose a topic and then I'll have a conversation with you. I'll ask questions and everybody has to answer these questions and I will help you to improve your conversation. Okay? So, thank you guys very much for watching and listening. Make sure you follow my YouTube channel also. My YouTube channel is right here. I do these live streams Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, around 9 or 9:30 a.m. New York City time. That's Eastern Standard Time. And so that's about 9 or 9:30 p.m. Beijing time, okay? And if you go to my YouTube channel, there are many recorded live streams because this live stream right now, I'm on Hello Talk on one screen and I'm on YouTube on the other screen live. So you can join my YouTube channel and watch as long as you want with no time limit. But you also can watch the rest of my live streams. This live stream was recorded today, so you can watch this again on YouTube later if you want to. All right? I have dozens of live streams recorded there that you can watch and practice your English listening. You can hear many great tips. So please go follow that and support me as much as you can. I don't get paid for any of this. I don't get paid. They're not paying me. Okay. So if you want me to be here, then please support me. Tell people about me. Spread the word. Okay. All right, everybody. So it was great to be with you. It's been about 2.5 hours, so I got to go. But thank you for watching. Thank you for following. Thank you for participating. Have a good morning. Have a good afternoon. Have a good evening wherever you are in the world. And don't forget to be a language warrior, okay? The name of my YouTube channel is AFIEC English. It's right there. AFIEC English. If you find that, or if you go to my new website, you can find the YouTube link there also, okay? All right. Thank you very much. And I will see you guys, well, I may even have another voice room later tonight. If I have time, I'll see if I can do a voice room tonight. Maybe. Okay? Okay, everybody. Thank you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.